Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale. On this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to show you how to make really easy but really delicious apple roses. They're all the rage right now. They're all over the interwebs. So I want to show you how I like to make mine because it's easy, it's simple, it's absolutely show-stopping. And if you know anything about me, if you've been watching me for a while, you know that doing cute, like fancy things just isn't my cup of tea. One, I have no patience. Two, I'm not good at it. And three, it's just like not my thing. I like really good food. But the thing about these is that they're really insanely easy to do and they look beautiful and they're delicious. I mean, you got puff pastry, apple, sweet, sugar, caramel sauce on the side. Count me in for that. So I'm thrilled to share this with you. It's more of an assembly thing than a recipe, but I'm going to show you how to make it. So what you'll need are a couple of apples, preferably red skin apples. These are Gala apples. You can use Red Delicious if you want to. You'll need a sheet of puff pastry, really depending on how many you want to make. I'm making 6. An egg, some cinnamon sugar, which is just a couple tablespoons of sugar mixed with a little bit of cinnamon. You'll need just a little bit of flour. And then you're going to need whatever you want to serve it with. You can serve it with caramel sauce, which is what I like to do. You can serve it with ice cream. You can serve it with custard. You can serve them with nothing at all. They're really delicious. I've got my oven preheated to 375. I'm going to get to work on my apples. What I have here is a bowl with some cold water, and I have just squeezed a half a lemon in there. I just dunked the whole thing because I need to work on prepping my apples. Now this is kind of important. You cut your apple like so, right? Just gonna grab the spoon. You want to get rid of the core. You can use an apple core if you want to. It doesn't matter to me because I'm just gonna use my spoon like so. Then thinly, you're gonna just slice your apples into half moon like that. You don't want to get too thick because otherwise they won't roll, but you also don't want to go too thin, otherwise they become way too flimsy. But really, if you had to choose one, you'd want to go on the thinner side because if they're too thick, like I said, they're not going to roll with your puff pastry. And then just immediately dunk them into your lemon water because it stops them from turning brown. So I'm just going to go ahead and slice the rest of my apples, and then we'll start assembling. Okay, so just rolled out my sheet of puff pastry. You want it about an inch or so bigger on all sides. Now what I'm going to do to my apples, I'm going to drain all of that lemony water, and I'm going to put them back into the same bowl and pop them in the microwave for about 45 seconds. You want your puff pastry to be ready by the time your apples come out because everything kind of rolls a whole lot easier when your apples are warm. So I'm going to go do that while my puff pastry just sits here for a few seconds, and then we'll start rocking and rolling. All right, so I got about 6 stripes out of here. I have my muffin tin that I've just sprayed with a little bit of nonstick spray for 6 of them. Now I'm just going to take my egg wash because you kind of want to work quickly with each one. I'll show you how to do 1 or 2 and then I'll do the rest. You want to just brush some of your egg wash, and as you can tell, I have brushed off any excess flour from the very surface, otherwise it would get all gummy. I'll do a couple at a time, and then I like to sprinkle my cinnamon sugar before I put the apples on, and it might not look like it's a lot of sugar, but it goes a long way. Then you just take your apple slices, be careful that they're warm. It's a little bit warmer than I'd like. And you're going to put them on top like that. You see? Perhaps maybe I should do it on this one because the flour is making it a little bit difficult. Here we go. See? Just like that. And if they break a little, it's fine. And you can overlap a little bit like that, and it'll be great. Once you have your apples kind of laid out like that, you want to take the other half of the puff pastry. You want to kind of cover the bottom half of the apple slices, and then you kind of pick up and just roll like that. And if they come out a little bit, it's fine because you have to keep in mind that these the puff pastry will puff up a bit as they bake. Look how gorgeous. You see why I like the red skin apple, because it gives you really great color. And then you just put that into a muffin tin. I'll show you another one right here, because with things like this, it's always better to have a visual, because let's face it, it can seem a bit complicated, but it really isn't. It's just, I mean, obviously if I can do it, anybody can do it. Look at that. Okay. Last one to go in. These are going to go into my preheated oven at 375 for about 40 minutes. Now what I find best is if you bake them in the very center rack of the oven, because if you bake them too high up, the tops of the apples can burn. If you bake them all the way to the lowest rack, the bottom can burn. So really the middle is your best bet. But if you feel like the top of the apples are developing too much color too quickly, you can always tint them with a little bit of foil. I have found that little bit of caramelization is great. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit more of my cinnamon sugar, not much, like less than a quarter teaspoon for each one, because I really like that caramelization. And I'm going to pop these in, I'm going to let them bake, and I'll show you what they look like when they're done. My apple roses were in the oven for exactly 40 minutes. Now when you take them out, just run a knife around the edge and pop them out right away onto a cooling rack. Otherwise, if you let them cool completely in your muffin tin, they will stick. And then what I like to do, which actually looks really beautiful, if your edges of the apples are a little bit dark and caramelized, it really showcases the confectioner's sugar really nicely for some reason. I don't even know how to describe it. So just add a little zhuzh, a little sprinkle of confectioner's sugar like that. I mean, look how gorgeous. And then what I have here is some of my caramel sauce. I just kind of popped it into the microwave for a few minutes. I just like to put a little bit on the very bottom of the plate. These are really rich, so they look small, but they are mighty. And I just like to pop one on top, just like that. And then a little scoop of vanilla ice cream on the side would be really, really lovely, or right on top. It's up to you. I mean, I'm gonna destroy it in the next 5 seconds. So you've seen it, it's pretty, it's lovely, it's show-stopping, but I'm gonna destroy it. There's only one way to eat it. And if I can't eat it, then what's the point? Oh yeah, everything is just gorgeous. Like, the apples have softened. See, these are the apples. They've softened. The puff pastry is crisp and flaky. I mean, something can be really beautiful, but if it's not good, like yummy, delicious, it has everything that I would love about a dessert, what's the point? That is so awesome. It's really good with the caramel too. Hold on, one more bite. I'm just gonna make sure. It's like a flaky little apple pie. It's awesome. And if you're looking for a great project to do this weekend, these should be on the list. Go to laurinthekitchen.com. I will have the breakdown for you. It's always better to watch the video, especially when it comes to something like rolling up puff pastry and apples to make roses. But the list of the ingredients and everything will be on my website at laurinthekitchen.com. I hope you enjoy spending time with me. Make yourself a dozen roses. You're worth it. Let's see you next time.